Hello Pisces, welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. It took me a while to get comfy because I have to share the space with the boss. So I have to share the space with the boss. I'm in this room because there's a lot of construction going on in the yard behind me where the dogs usually bark. So they're ripping it all up. It's quite noisy. It's at that side of the house. So I'm at this side of the house. And here we are. Pisces. We are going to look at your current and future energy. I'm going to do that with an array, an assortment of different cards. So I'm just going to get right into it, my dears. I'm going to start with the archetype deck. We're going to look at what your current energy is and what your energy is in the future. And I will say too, these have light and dark attributes to them. I really won't know what you're in until I get more cards. Unless I just bang off getting intuitive. Oh, I know what you're up to. Let's see. So me and the boss, I'm going to pull some cards for you. She's not the boss. She's at least a supervisor. She definitely is. She watches everything I do. She keeps me on track. It's lunchtime. It's dinner time. It's breakfast time. It's walk time. It's sleep time. All right, Pisces, current and future energy. Current and future energy. Actually, I have a bigger one of these. I should get it. It's downstairs. You should go get that for me. Currently, saboteur. Well, that's interesting. Are you the light or the shadow in this? Highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring to your life. Shadow. Induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. Well, that's a really heavy energy. Either way you look at it. So you're either carefully looking at the fears you have about your own self-empowerment and how that would change your life, or you're afraid to look at it, which is causing possibly some self-destructive behavior, or if not for yourself, a desire to undermine others, like keep others down so that you don't elevate, or keep yourself down so you don't elevate. The future. Exorcist. Freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses. Shadow attribute. Fear of facing your own demons. Wow. Damn. Heavy. Heavy energy. Whether it's light or dark. Dilettante. Delights in the arts without having to be a professional. Alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. The shadow. Pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess. And then you have prostitute and judge and Midas and femme fatale. There's a lot there. I feel like there's a lot going on in like either your mind space. I think a lot, and how you exercise your mind space in your life. All right, we need to, oh no, we're not doing tarot yet. Now I'm doing the World Unknown Oracle. So this card that comes out is going to be the influencing energy towards what this archetype is, you know. So what's causing it? Or what's triggering it? Pisces, current, future. What is influencing their energy? The crocodile. The zebra. There's a pair right there. Isn't that interesting? These two coexist with each other. One is the predator, and one is the prey. So what are you, Pisces? Are you the predator or are you the prey? Because self-empowerment is about not being the prey, for one thing. But here in the future, you're freeing yourself of destructive impulses. What would you call it? Crocodile is destructive. I mean, it feeds itself, but it does it in such a destructive way. Oh, it's torture. If you ever watch those videos with those things, I don't really look at those. Just terrible, scary. It is. I mean, Jesus. Some of the things they've done to zebras. Oh, okay. The hummingbird is at the bottom. And the panther. Wow. The hummingbird and the panther. This is like some serious... I said heavy. Like, this just feels like a reading, a heavy theme. And the panther... My hair's getting so long, it gets stuck behind things. The panther is the entity, the energy that will get you through any type of darkness. It's been there, done that. Right-hand man to the devil, ascended from that. So it knows what it's doing in the darkness. But it comes out to me in the readings as like more angelic, more like divine. It's clearing the path for you. And it really is now the right-hand man of divinity on earth, like a switch. But right, and then you get the hummingbird, which to me is one of the most high frequencies, because the darkness doesn't come in. So that's really interesting. It's like if you're working with darkness, if you're working in darkness, so, you know, there could be people around you that are exercising life in their shadow attributes, and you're working around that. Like, how do you do that? So do you do things to self-empower yourself? Do these things that you might be thinking about that would self-empower you, these changes, I think you're almost asking yourself, like, how do you feel? Pisces, I would say, like, how do you feel? How do you imagine these changes would be? If you don't do these changes, are you utilizing a more self-destructive behavior? Or are you undermining others? It feels like a conundrum. Like when in Rome, right? Like when in Rome, what do you do? Act like a Roman. But what if you don't believe how the Romans are acting? Don't think that's right. Well, what should you do? So what do you do? So over here in the future, you have the zebras, right? This shirt, I don't mean to like show a lot. It just sits differently when I'm leaning in a bed as opposed to in a chair. I didn't realize that. I'm not trying to be a floozy. So freeing yourself, and not that there's anything wrong with that. Freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses in the future. Or fear of facing your own demons. The zebra. I'm not sure which way you're going. I feel like you could go anyway. I feel like, though, that you're sitting in a situation where if you're dealing with crocodile energy, it can be very destructive. But you need to empower yourself beyond the crocodile energy. Like there's something going on here that sits in the weights. The crocodile is sitting in the water. It's waiting for you. What do you do? Because this is what's influencing what's happening over here. You got to cross the water. You have to cross the water. And what will that do? Oh my gosh, but I kind of think like in the future you're the zebra. Did you get across the water? If you don't cross the water, if you don't head towards something that perhaps you need to do, some action you need to take in your life. Does this become self-destructive because you never get to the greener grass on the other side? Or you always allow scary obstacles in front of you to deter you so you don't go? Or do you convince others you shouldn't do that? You shouldn't do that. And that's kind of self-destructive to them. Fascinating reading, Pisces. I don't mean to make too much noise. I don't. Oh, yeah. I know. You're such a good girl. Okay. Okay, so currently, what we're going to look at with the tarot in these little sections, what have you been working on? What have you been healing? What is starting to blossom? And then in the future, what will you finish working on? What will be healed? And what will be ready to harvest? She's laying like that. I just want to stop what I'm doing and cuddle her and have a nap. Super. I think like a warm fuzzy. A warm fuzzy. What have you been working on? The Ten of Swords. Painful endings. So maybe trying to bring an end to the crocodile. No. What have you been healing? The moon. Your fears. Because the crocodile to me represents possibly a fear. But this fear is like manifesting itself into, I don't know what it is, but it's highlighting that you need to make a change in your life. And this would empower you. It's utilizing the masculine and the feminine side of you. I don't know if I've ever seen a moon card with a male and a female depicted in it. And they're standing on two ledges that are just inches apart from each other. But they're connected through the moon. You've been healing your intuitive connection. You've been healing, really healing your fears. What is starting to blossom? The Page of Pentacles. That's funny. I think Aquarius had the same card in the same spot. The Page of Pentacles. So, you're learning as you go here. And the things that you've been learning are actually creating the footprints for you to follow into the future. So you're progressing here. And it's like a step at a time. Her tummy just growled. How you learn and how you take those lessons in the future. What will you finish working on in the future? The Star. You get across the river. Healed. You're healing. Your connection. You make it across the river as the zebra. And you freed yourself and others of destructive impulses. Interesting, right? Because it even talks about others in the shadow here. Undermine others. What will be healed? The Four of Pentacles. Your fear of lack, your you're feeling stuck, your need to maybe self-contain, contain. What will be ready to harvest? Oh, the Queen of Pentacles. Whatever what is starting to blossom here for you is your ability to plant things for yourself. That like investing, kind of like investing in yourself in different ways. And then reaping the rewards of that in the future is what will happen. This energy is really cool. It's interesting though. The Three of Cups at the bottom, and that's all. I feel like you've made and you're about to make some form of archetypal, but I'm looking, like I'm seeing these three, and like us as the viewer, as the person holding the card, is being depicted as someone cheers with these two, like clinking the glasses together. And this one looks of sort of like a moderate age, and this one is much older. So I want to assume that the one holding the glass, me, you, is the maiden. And then the other one is the trilogy. The other one is the mother and the crone. So I feel like you're on the cusp of working your way through something, whether that's a fear, a challenge. And in doing this, you're self-empowering yourself. And the self-empowerment might, on some level, feel scary because what you're working on is a painful ending. Is like you not being who you ever were before as you move forward. And all the fears that come with this. But look at how much you're learning as you do this. And every time you learn, you're planting that seed in the ground, and it becomes something that you can utilize in the future. Yeah, I like this. And then you're healing. What are you working on finishing here? Your fears, probably. The star. Your connection. Oh. You know what you've been healing, and what's going to be healed is when fear causes you to feel immobile. You know, you can't move. You don't know what to do. Because these are connected. Healing the moon and what is healed, the Four of Pentacles. So if I combine those two, it really does feel like I can't move because I'm in fear. And what do you have here but a crocodile? So in some ways, it could be like the scariest thing that you've ever encountered in life, or the most intimidating thing that you've ever encountered in life. And that can trigger us in a lot of different ways. Like it wouldn't probably be difficult to slip into the shadow. Maybe you've been in the shadow. I mean, being held in fear is, I would say, somewhat self-destructive behavior. But even just saying self-destructive, Pisces being the 12th house is the undoing of the self. So it isn't something that you weren't supposed to do. You weren't supposed to self-destruct. You weren't supposed to enact this behavior. You were supposed to work through it and live it. And it's so beautiful because, yeah, this is such a youthful person planting this seed, like a very young person, who I'm assuming is the maiden holding the cup here. And then who is next but receiving what was planted. So I do feel like it's investing in yourself, believing in yourself, trusting yourself, and maybe even being at some sort of a point in time where there's very few others to trust but yourself. Oh, she's twitching. I love the way she sleeps through my voice. So, saboteur. Currently, the saboteur. The 10 of Cups. You sabotage your own happiness. You sabotage your own potential for emotional fulfillment. Yeah, when you live in fear, you would. The crocodile. This is what is influencing that. The crocodile. The sun. What the hell? This is almost like afraid to really succeed. Afraid to have it all. Afraid to see myself and know myself in all of its trueness. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, what does the crocodile like symbolize? I think we just covered that with the sun. So the 10 of Swords. What have you been working on? Painful ending, a conclusion in some area of your life. The 5 of Wands, Justice, and the 5 of Swords. It kind of sounds like, and being the 10, like the finality of something, is like the battle to end all battles. A battle, justice, and a conclusion with the 5 of Swords. Being able to cut out some sort of discontent, disagreement, competing differences, to be able to cut that out of your life permanently and wholly. What have you been healing? The Moon. The 3 of Wands and the 6 of Cups. Well, goodness. That really, that does feel like allowing your soul to move. Allowing your, like the little child, right, on the horse in the Sun card. Allowing the inner child within you to have options. To be able to move forward, to be able to receive. To be able to receive. You can't receive anything when you're like that. Your hands are full. You're all tied up with fear, possibly. The Page of Pentacles is what is starting to blossom. You're starting to get whatever lessons you've been working through, and they're about to produce. Look at this, the Queen of Wands and the 4 of Pentacles. You know what I want to say? If you've been like stuck in fear or immobilized by fear, you're doing it good. You just, like, nobody's doing it like you. You're not doing it like anybody else either. With the Queen of Wands, you are really, really, like, if that's how you need to self-empower, that's how you need to self-empower. That's interesting. Nobody can tell you any other way to do it, Pisces. You did it your way. You totally Frank Sinatra'd it. Isn't that funny that I would say that too? Because I always get Croner and Croon. The Croon and the Crone. Except, and he was a Croner. A Crooner. Oh shit, see? With that, right? The maid and the mother and the croon. The crone. Whatever. So zebra. I always get that like potato, tomato. Zebra. They're 2 of Swords. Oh. Right? The zebra's also got all its intuition lit up. It might look like everybody else in the herd, but it's not. Oh, that's certainly you. With this Page of Pentacles, you're learning lessons that other people learn and go through as well. But you do it in a very unique way. It's like your way. It's your way, Pisces. It's the only way, which is beautiful and unique. Creative too, right? Dilettante. Delights in the arts without having to be a professional. I think that's almost like explaining Pisces' life all the time, though. Because I always think of Pisces as just naturally creative. And I can relate. I think I often do relate to Pisceans very well. I have a ton of planets in Pisces. But like when you're just born a certain way and you see everything a certain way, because there's probably like natural abilities to be quite dreamy and mystical and poetic and fantastical and clairvoyant and psychic, like all of those things. But, you know, you just assume the whole world is seeing everything out of their eyes like you are seeing out of your eyes. And it wasn't until I started, because being an artist, I started teaching art to kids. To anybody. Actually, kids were a little easier. Adults were harder. They are harder to teach. Otherwise, nobody looks at things the way I look at them. Like, don't you see the world through shadows and light? No. It's like you realize you have to point these things out to people. But I really feel like Pisces is like that. Like, you are a dilettante. It just is who you are. You're not You don't take it on as a professional aspect. Maybe some of you do, or you attempt to. But even if it doesn't become a professional, it is you. It is who you are. You delight in this. It is just who you are. It's who you live and breathe to be. This also alerts you. Am I talking too loud? I'm so sorry. Alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. Well, because we do have to balance our spiritual lives and our practical lives. And I really feel like what you're pushing through here is probably something practical, right? We don't get pushed nearly as hard in spiritual and imagination and fantasy, you know, because we can let it go wherever it wants. We can put in front of us and remove from us obstacles and such. So this is something real. Yeah, yeah. Adults are really hard to teach. No, I'm curious. How many of you look at life through shadows and light? I just, yeah. Everything is a shadow and a light source to me. And when other people don't do that, you're like, well, how do I tell you to look at things like that? It gets really interesting how you have to like tell people, well, do you see where the light is coming from? Do you see where it's catching the light? Do you see where the shadow is falling? Do you see? Do you understand it? The shadow is following the shape and the distance. Anyways, kids are just like, yeah, okay. Wild Unknown Oracle, Exorcist. Oh no, Archetype. The archetype is the Exorcist. See, I can go right into a Pisces, a frame of mind, and then I can have trouble coming back. Oh, you got the Five of Cups and the Hierophant. Freeing yourself and others from destructive impulses. When the reality of life, when the rules and regulations of existence cause like emotional defeat, disappointments, free yourself from this. Free yourself from this. Don't, oh, it feels like, oh, look at this. This Pope dude has got his hand like that, like he doesn't even want to be bothered looking at your sadness. I kid you not. Look at this. Look at the way these two cards are sitting. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that right now. No, can you see it's as far as I can go? It's the Rider-Waite. You can look it up online and see the cards. He's totally putting his hand up. Destructive impulses. That's an impulse. I have a rule to follow. I can't be bothered knowing what your pain is. I can't be bothered knowing what the sadness is. Fascinating. But look at here. What you've been working on. You have the Justice card, which I'm going to associate with physical things. Because self-empowerment is, I'm sure, something beyond just the spiritual aspect of life here. It's probably something practical. You have the Four of Pentacles. It's a trigger. It's the only pentacle showing up in the reading. Oh, no, it's not. Silly me. The Page and the Queen. So it is. It's building something up. But I feel like you're going to utilize whatever the energy is that says no. So you're learning and you're taking it as like adding it to your tool belt of life. What will you finish working on? The Star. Oh, look at the Four of Pentacles and the Four of Swords and the Five of Pentacles. You know, I'm not in your way. You're in my way. She keeps kicking me. Four of Swords and the Five of Pentacles. Healing. What you're going to finish working on. And healing like this bastard. Hierophant, I couldn't give a shit about your problems today. I don't have time for you. They're both a 5. They both need to change. The Hierophant is always so slow at changing. Yeah, I don't know. And then the Five of Pentacles. The 4 and the 5. Yes, this is a 4 and this is a 5. This is IV and this is V. And I feel like there's something symbolic in that. Because it's the I in my problems that I can address. I love that. That's my new thing. It's the I and my problems that I can address. You can put that on a t-shirt. You have to stretch out my for that to, like, you know, rhyme. I know you've had enough of me. But yeah, like you heal you and you come out of the cold. You take yourself out of the cold. You're so warm and cuddly. The Four of Pentacles, what will be healed? Stop kicking me. The cards are going to hit you now. Oh, movement. Look at this. You have the Eight of Wands and the Two of Cups. What will be healed? Moving with your heart, moving and communicating in a way that is at a frequency that brings beautiful things towards your life. Reciprocate, not fearful things, not being frozen in fear. The Queen of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, and the Moon. You know, you got the whole bed. That's a good girl. You see that? Yeah. Ten of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, and the Moon with the Queen of Pentacles. Wow, the Queen would typically be seen in the 10. Where you end up, nobody knows. I don't know. So that's a good question. Like the 10, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. When we build things up, things come down. We build things up, things come down. That gets harder as we get older because there's a bit of effort. Why does that get harder as we get older? Really? Like why? Why when we're young, like when major changes happen, it's like, okay. Like most kids, not all, but most. And then as we get older, major changes happen. It's like, ugh. Maybe it's the anticipation. Like when you're younger, you haven't had a major change yet. Oh, there's a major change. Okay. It was one. And then you have like 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, oh my God. When does this stop? Hummingbird and the Panther. Oh, but your fear. I'm sorry. Your fear, the Moon. I was just told to look back at the Moon card. Your fear about where your abundance could lie. Your fear about what prosperity you will have in life. Your fear about even like basic things like shelter with the Ten of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles. Your basic needs, necessities of life. So in some ways, like harvesting your fear. It is like a completion of your fear here. You're healing being frozen by fear. And then you're harvesting whatever it was you were afraid of in the first place. The Hummingbird. Your underlying... Oh, the cards are being sneaky. The Hummingbird. The Knight of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles. This is like slow and steady collaboration. Maybe that frightens you. Slow and steady collaboration. The Panther. It knocked the fear off. Did you see that? It knocked the Moon off. The Magician and the Wheel of Fortune. The eye in, I don't even remember what I said. I don't remember what I said. I channeled it and it's gone. You know what I said. You can rewind. There it is. It's like a 1, but it looks like an eye. And the 10. You are in control of really like your own fortune or misfortune here. You know that saying, you're your own worst enemy. We've all been that at many different times. The Knight of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles with the hummingbird. Maybe too, like wanting to find yourself in places. Well, you know, it doesn't matter. Where you end up, there's always going to be things that are sort of conflictive. We're all individual entities, so we all have different experiences that create who we are, and then we all have different desires and outcomes and needs. So there's always going to be some form of conflicts in life, but like always kind of rising above it with the hummingbird. And then the Strength card and the Six of Wands and the High Priestess and the Page of Swords at the bottom. The strength to overcome your fears, the strength to overcome the unknown, and to see your way forward. That's what I got for you, Pisces. Oh, it's nice, kind of like relaxing. I got a Lily's warm bum on my foot. Now, I'm going to go do the extended, Pisces. In the extended, I'm going to look at the in-between energy. So the energy that sits between your current and your future. Thank you so much, Pisces. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.